What is like to be a teacher?
Hello, children. Thank you very much. Come, please. How are you today? Are you fine? Yes. Are you happy? I am happy too. Let me see if you are happy. Please sing me a song. My dear
teacher, I love you very much. My dear teacher, I love you very much. Be happy, I love you very much. Be happy, I love you very much.
How many pennies would you like to have? Two a penny, yes. Two a penny. Three a penny. Four a penny, great. 100 a penny. He would like to have one a penny. It's yours. Debbie, it is. He was with 100. He wanted to have them all. Close your eyes and chiudete gli occhi. Everybody close their eyes. And make a wish and say, I would like to taste a hot croissant. And now, open your eyes. You have here hot cross bun. Yes, this is for you. So everybody take, please. Help yourselves. Hot cross bun. These are what we eat. Is it nice? Is it nice? Yes. What a huge surprise to me! What a huge surprise! Totaluga! Yes! Taste it! Have it! Quickly! Thank you! Yes. Is it nice? Do you like it nice? Yes. Can we sing once again the song? Can we? With your mouth full?
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
I guess you need to be one to answer that. Rodica Pop has been a teacher for as long as she can remember.
It's normally a tradition to ask the ladies to come first, but we have broken the tradition. Expert who's a professor in school education and also committed to the development of the education all the time. And she has been celebrated in her own country. So we need to give her a big hand as with a national award in doing her work in school education. Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to join this great seminar. It's very important for me because this subject is very dear to my heart. I'm teaching for 33 years in a formal education system as a teacher. I am also for 15 years the president of a foundation whose founder I am, Children for Children, Children for Peace. And for 10 years I also work as in museum education. Yes, I was rewarded in 2010 as the best school teacher of Romania. And somebody asked me here, why have they nominated you? And I said, because maybe I tried to open a way for a new style of education, because I combine the formal education with a non-formal education. I did education for peace since I started to educate people, to educate children. But for 10 years, I developed a new type of education for culture, called museum education. And I involve 1,500 children every year in visiting museums. And I even took my PhD degree in museum education, being the first who opened this way of teaching. Teaching and making children to have a strong personality through culture, through not only culture, and this could help them to fulfill maybe their needs, their aspiration, to be able to accept the situation around you, the reality around you. Half of our school students live alone in Romania because the parents, either mother or father, work in another country, and they were left alone by their parents with their grandparents, or only with their father, or only with their mother. So the family is dangerous. That's a problem. This is the way we have to look on further. How to make these children have their inner peace. If we work on this inner peace, maybe we can have what we want. The second steps of the peace values. But inside, it is a storm. Half of my class, I'm a class tutor, half of my class students are only with one parent, monoparental families. When you talk to them, when you try to help them, you see what a storm is in their life. So maybe we have to look very, very seriously on this topic to see how we can cope, how we can develop it in the society we live, because the society we live now, it's not the society of our parents. I was blessed. I had a very nice family. I really had peace in my childhood and in my life, because it was created around me by the family, first of all, and then I carried on in schools and so on, and I carried on when I was a teacher. When first I start the first year of my teaching, the first question in my mind was, wow, do I have to do what the others do for me? Will I be able to do such a great work? Because I was very happy during my childhood, during my students' time. And that's why I tried and I worked very hard as a teacher to do more than somebody said here. A teacher has to be a teacher not only in the class. I agree. I really agree. A teacher has to be a teacher all his life, all 24 hours from 24 hours. And then maybe you succeed to do something. So the principle of my work, for example, was that if I save a child, I save the world. So anytime when a child was in need, I did and I do all my best to save him or her.
Graduating rate in our classes has always been of 99%. and more than 90% of her students graduated from college, some as valedictorians. More than 50% use English as a second language. 10 of her 14-year-old students got Cambridge First Certificate. She was the first classroom teacher in Romania to receive the major awards in the national and international field of culture and education. British Council granted her a scholarship in Great Britain, and she mentored 120 teachers for 7 years, helping them to get a similar grant for the same teacher refresher course in Oxford, greatly increasing the standard teaching in the region. She has got the Best Teacher of the Year 2010 award and the Gheorghe Lazar First Class Diploma, this being the highest governmental scholar distinction for a teacher in Romania. Her students were awarded the first prize at the Global Education Festival for 14 times, 2008, 2016. She received ICOM SICA Best Practice Award. Yet it is not the impressive list of awards and educational accomplishments one would want to focus upon, but her ongoing unyielding need to teach and to promote qualitative education. She published 3 books, 3 albums, 3 cultural guides, a children's magazine, and 5 books of her students. Her being the curator of the 6 tactile exhibitions for blind students, the first in Romania, developing peer education between blind and sighted students, shows just how her perspective embraced a whole new category of students that need nurturing and education as well.
Desparte sacul de profan, această funie lasă tot urâtul și răul în afara casei. Și de aici, în momentul în care am trecut peste această parte, ești apărat, ești protejat. Înțelegeți? Da.
The exhibition was visited by 200 blind children from Transylvania and 500 blind adults from all over Romania. Whoever visited a museum, the 1,500 sighted student visitors used blindfolds to better understand the real life and the barriers faced by the blind.
Un experiment muzeal intitulat Bucuria revederii, un experiment pe care doamna profesor dr. Pop Rodica Silvia l-a gândit pentru noastră și nu este prima dată, pentru că de 3 ani consecutiv dumneaei reușește să implementeze proiecte dedicate persoanelor nevăzătoare. Dacă unii dintre noastre ați fost și anul trecut proiectul s-a numit Muzeul în Palmă.
Florin, de la Liceul cu Deficiențe de Vedere din Cluj-Napoca, care va citi această broșură în braille pentru voi.
Pintea Viteazul. Eroul legendar Pintea Viteazul a apărut pe scena istoriei românilor ca haiduc și capitan de oaste care acționează la sfârșitul secolului XVII, începutul secolului XVIII. Personaj complex prin acțiunile sale și, totodată, prin personalitatea sa, este prezent atât în tradiția istorică, cât și în cea populară, ca fiind românul care s-a răzvrătit împotriva modului în care erau tratați oamenii de rând.
Hi, my name is Mila Chiovatu. I'm the current president of SECA ICON. It's a pleasure to me to say a few words about the work of Rodica Pop. She is a brilliant woman. She won a prize of best practices in education, and the text that she wrote influed in other museums and other education works all around the world, including Zambia. So she is an inspiration for us, and we have luck to have her as a SECA member. Thank you very much.
She deeply believes in global citizen education. In the 21st century, we are all one global family. She develops global cultural activities with her school. tune with this approach to a different category of students is her pushing forth to a new educational challenge. Rodica is the co-founder of the Council of Europe, the Roma Route project.
We are deeper involved in their life now. We know each other better. We met all the leaders of the villages because we did a very hard research about their cultural life. So I think this is the best point we achieved.
The Romani, known as Gypsies or Roma, are a traditionally itinerant ethnic group living mostly in Europe, originating from northern India. They came from a single group that left northwestern India about 1500 years ago. In February 2016, at the International Roma Conference, the Indian Minister of External Affairs stated that the people of the Roma community were children of India. The conference ended with a recommendation to the government of India to admit that the Roma community spreads across 30 countries as a part of the Indian diaspora. Their story is one of persecution, exclusion, discrimination, poverty, and even slavery. In Romania, they constitute one of the country's largest minorities. According to the 2011 census, they represent more than 3% of the total population. 1,100 Roma live in Baia Mare on Craica, in improper homes on the outskirts of town. Residents complained that there is no electricity, there are many rats in the area, and that there is a significant number of people who live on occasional income, marginal occupations, and prostitution. There are 250 children in this community. Baia Mare faces a high rate of school abandonment as far as the Roma children are concerned, in spite of the authority and school staff efforts to avoid it. Rodica worked in many projects in the past 20 years for the Roma community, but as an outsider.
My name is Rodica Pop. I'm from Romania, from the Museum of History and Archaeology, Baia Mare.
Me som Akarel Manciucur Virgil, som mediatori școlari ai consilierii locali.
We get involved in Roma Route because we do wish to get back their identity. The Roma identity have to get back their identity and to feel very proud of themselves. And we want to involve them in our activities, and we want to involve them and to make them part of our auditorium.
She even spoke for their cultural heritage rights in Strasbourg, becoming a voice for them.
Just come and you will discover a new world and a new culture that is impressive, and you can add your values to it. Just come.
She took some Roma children in a cultural exchange in Iceland to show them they have every right to be proud of themselves. But as she herself confesses, this was to be the major challenge of her career, her trying to make a difference in the life of Roma children. Visiting one of her schoolmates who is teaching Roma children, she found out that 40% of them are contemplating school abandonment, as they cannot cope with the school curriculum. When she saw that almost half of the class was on the score at the class tests, she decided to put all her effort in teaching them to read and write, so they could be promoted to the next grade.
Foarte dragi. Foarte dragi. Dar ăștia sunt copii model. O să vă dau. Eu sunt profesoară și copiii mei cu care eu am lucrat au zis: Teacher, do you know why we love you? Și am zis: Why do you love me? Because you are full of surprises. Pentru că dumneavoastră sunteți plină de surprize. Asta mi-au spus. De-aia mă iubesc copiii, pentru că sunt plină de surprize și o să fiu plină de surprize și pentru voi. Dar pentru cei care vor să participe la o asemenea activitate, da? Deci, obligatoriu, trebuie școală și iar școală, da? Deci, condiția numărul 1, Este să venim la școală. O să vii la școală?
Da.
Sigur?
Da.
Și nu o să lipsești niciodată?
Nu.
Atunci vei fi totdeauna sărbătorit. O să veniți la școală?
Da.
Sigur?
Da.
Bun. Spuneți toți.
Școala.
Iubim școala.
Iubim școala.
Vrem să facem școală.
Vrem să facem școală.
O să venim toți la școală.
O să venim toți la școală.
Vă iubesc.
May peace prevail on earth.
Să fie pace pe pământ. Toată lumea spune.
Să fie pace pe pământ.
Bravo. Mulți ani cu sănătate,
Să vă dea Domnul tot ce doriți, zile senine și fericire la mulți ani să trăiți.
It was highly demanding to adjust to the new teaching environment since the school she worked with dealt with few such cases of vulnerable school population. Not only that Rodica had to reinvent herself as a teacher, but she also devised a strategy that was to be beneficial both to her new students and to some brilliant pupils from her former school. She applied again her favorite way of teaching, the peer-to-peer education. She asked a group of 20 non-Roma children for help. Half of them had just graduated first grade. Surprisingly, their parents accepted. Roma children are generally rejected and isolated. It was a great task to put them to work together. They all worked voluntarily for 2 hours every weekdays for 2 months.
Trec în a 7-a.
Tu treci într-a 7-a deja. De la care școală ești?
Nicolae Iorga.
De la școala Nicolae Iorga. Și ai venit să-i ajuți?
Și cum ai aflat de activitatea doamnei?
Păi, doamna dirigintă...
Cum o
ne-a
cheamă?
spus- Doamna dirigintă Diana Mociran ne-a spus despre acest proiect și eu m-am gândit să vin să-i ajut pe copii.
Foarte frumos. Și părinții tăi ce au zis, Florina?
Au zis că sunt de acord și...
S-au
Și
bucurat.
te-au ajutat
Da.
să
Și
ajungi.
s-au bucurat.
Dar tu
Părinții...
cum de-ai acceptat?
Fiindcă îmi place să ajut.
Bravo ție. Și tu o să fii ajutată în viață, în zecit, o să vezi.
Amazingly, everyone stayed with the program. Together, they implemented a system of peer education in which pupils from non-vulnerable groups helped their illiterate peers to read and write. Roma pupils found much easier to learn from children of the same age who were ready to help without being judgmental. All these 24 children promoted to the next grade. Furthermore, a 16-year-old boy came and asked to be accepted in the group. He wanted to be taught how to read and write. In 2 months, he succeeded to solve his problem, being helped by a 7-year-old boy. It is unique in Romania. A 7-year-old boy becoming the mentor of a 16-year-old young man, giving him the freedom of knowledge, proving that the world can be changed by children.
Deci tu vrei. Am întâlnit puțini oameni care să-și dorească atât de mult să vrea. Pur și simplu vrea. Da? O să-l ajutăm. Uite-te.
Alex.
Alex te ajută. Eu o să te ajut.
Și nu trebuie să plângi.
Și nu trebuie.
Nu trebuie să
fii
plângi.
bucuros că ne-ai întâlnit. Da? O să fii bucuros că ne-ai întâlnit și o să facem treabă bună împreună. Mi-a promis că dacă învață să scrie și să citească, până la 20 de ani nu se mai lasă de școală.
This project had no financial support, but Mrs. Pop and the children's love. All the children were very young. 10 of the volunteers out of 25 had just graduated the first class. The project had just begun. It's a 5-year project because these children will be monitored and helped to move on from grade school. The project's long-term goals include preventing the children to leave school at a young age and not having them in the streets, begging, stealing, or becoming addicted to harmful habits or substances, basically breaking the vicious circle of juvenile delinquency. It is also about proving that it is possible to instill education in all environments. This project can be a snowball, growing in impact with each person involved, creating a web of attitudes and actions that will further positively affect the local community. The project has been instrumental in bringing together parents, teachers, Roma and non-Roma students and community leaders to explore moral education and wipe out illiteracy from the Roma community. The project will continue for the next 5 years, both by assisting other new Roma pupils and by monitoring the progress of those who would become literate in the process. There will be a section dedicated to 15 to 18-year-old children who have never been to school, but who are willing to learn reading and writing. This is also a new initiative related to illiteracy of children. Targeting the Roma population, the project can be taken farther to a global scale, since the Roma community is spread across 30 countries all over the world, mainly in Europe. There is no telling what course will take a good action, but we already know what the outcome will be when no one does anything.
Hello, I'm Camelia Minghiraș, primary school teacher in Baia Mare, Romania. We have just finished the alphabet, being grade 1. 10 of my students and their parents accepted the idea to let them to start their volunteer work. My pupils become teachers for the children who had learning difficulties. To me, it seems to be impossible, but my pupils made the impossible possible. Thank you, Rodica Pop, for the great project. Me and my people, that peoples were involved. I think that for me and my children, this project was a great opportunity for our souls.
Thank you, Rodica Pop, for involving my son in Roma Summer School project. I realized that we are the main beneficiary, first of all. We as parents are very happy that we decided to let our son Alex participate at this special project. It changed him very deeply as human being. He is now more strong and confident, generous and a loving person. He is determined to continue this experience again.
I am extremely happy that I could help a person in need. My peer is 16 years old. To be a teacher at 8 years old was a great experience.
I'm Daria, I have 8 years old. Thank you, Rodica Pop, for this opportunity to help these kids write and read. I want to help you with another occasion. I love you.
Hello, I'm Daria and I'm 11 years old. The project helped me to make new friends. My Roma peers are now my friend. Me and my sister take care of them. We brought them food and school items. It's good to help people. I will be a volunteer forever.
Hello, I am Irina and I am 8 years old. I was teacher for a Roma girl of my age. At the end, she knew to read, and we are good friends now. I like to be a volunteer.
Hello, I'm Adriana and I'm a former student of Mrs. Rodica Pop and the mother of the two girls. As English was my favorite subject, I graduated English language school. Almost 20 years ago, Mrs. Rodica taught us about being good friends, being human and helping people in need. All these years, she was involved in all kinds of projects with people in need. That's why this year I encourage my daughters to be part of volunteering program called Roma Summer Camp, led by Mrs. Rodica. For my family, it was a great opportunity to develop our girls' personality, and for them, it was a great experience. They work with the kids involved in this project. They taught them to write and count and read. And more important, the girls learned about kindness, about unconditional friendship, and being helpful.
Hi, my name is Monica Bandi. I'm a teacher of English, a teacher trainer, an in-service teacher trainer, and a deputy headmaster. I'm honored to support Ms. Rodica Silvia Pop for Global Teacher Prize. The whole teaching community in Baia Mare highly appreciates Ms. Rodica Silvia Pop's entire career as a teacher, mentor, serving as a role model who made a significant contribution to the development of the local teaching staff. Her work has also been recognized on the county level by being awarded every fourth year the highest appreciation a teacher can get on this level. This is an award given to only a few teachers that can prove their teaching abilities, initiatives, creativity, resourcefulness, engagement, vision upon the idea of being a complete educator. Ms. Rodica Silvia Pop is a remarkable teacher who has skillfully tailored not only her students' knowledge, but also her younger and less experienced fellow colleagues' teaching careers. As a teacher of English, Ms. Rodica Silvia Pop has inspired a lot of other teachers, either at the beginning of their teaching career or more experienced teachers, by presenting effective teaching strategies that could be implemented in any classroom. These activities were shared at the annual teaching meetings organized and held by the County School Inspectorate in Maramuresh, together with experienced teachers of English and teacher trainers. The attendants of these meetings have always been given a sincere opinion on teaching due to Ms. Pop's optimistic and clear way of approaching the Romanian teaching system on a whole. She has also proven leadership skills in setting up, organizing, and developing different teaching programs that support teachers of English who were at the beginning of their careers to develop their English language knowledge and teaching skills, their self-confidence. She has proposed, advised, and shared instructional resources to these young teachers in order to fill in the application forms of the Forma Comenius program funded by the European Commission and get a scholarship of 2 weeks at the famous Lake School in Oxford, England. Miss Pop has not only been a teacher in classroom, but she has proven to be that kind of person who believes that teaching must not stop when one leaves the gates of the school. Thus, she has always been a hard-working teacher who spread her knowledge above and beyond the classroom, and she led her students to cultural, interethnic activities that were meant to develop her students' real view over life and shape them into active citizens. She has always been eager to implement new ideas of teaching and social behavior, demonstrating that she is not merely a teacher, but also a learning partner that can be fully trusted. Ms. Pop has always focused as a form teacher not only to improve and teach her students, but also to make them achieve their wildest dreams, to push their limits in wanting to better perform and be the best. Graduation rate in her classes has always been of 99%, and more than 90% of her students graduated from college, some as valedictorians. By developing interesting and sometimes unique activities, Ms. Pop has been a great contributor to the prestige the school got where she has been a teacher. All these due to her open-minded way of thinking, generosity and ambition of making the act of teaching a supreme desire that is not an impossible mission. Although Ms. Rodica Silvia Pop is a multifaceted, talented and diligent person who could have achieved a wonderful career in any domain she liked, I think that if she were offered to choose again, she should opt for what she has always been, an outstanding teacher who had the ambition to continually improve herself, the generosity to offer without expecting a reward for her deeds, the courage to continue when the odds were not in favor, to shine for her students.
Rodica Pop was my English teacher for 4 years, between 1990 and 1994 at Nicolae Iorga High School, Middle School in Baia Mare. It was immediately after 1989, troubled period for our educational system. At that time, English was not quite lingua franca for us, and learning it with Miss Pop was a privilege and an opportunity that I sincerely cherish. She was a breath of fresh air for each student, and we did not even feel like we were learning or struggling to retain information as it happened with other subjects. Language was integrated in a very useful concept, and the concept of CLIL, which I later encountered as a teacher of English, seems to me perfectly illustrated by Mrs. Pop's classes. It was always a delight to have English, and we were competing with each other, reading our essays in English, and we were so proud of them. She was always able to push us further and motivate us and it was not easy because we were a class of 40 students at that time. She knew how to listen to us and how to cater to all our educational and personal needs. Being positive at all times made us trust our abilities and work even harder to get beyond our limits. I really admire the way that she preserved her energy and her positive mindset during all these years, and I can only hope to be like her when I'm older. Her teaching brought creativity and innovation to our class as she turned every situation into a learning opportunity. Sometimes we tried to trick her, like when we felt there was too much grammar, we would ask her to let us sing songs in English, and she would let us write the lyrics on the board during break time, and then to practice the song for some school shows. Now I realize that although it sounds easy, at that time it was quite difficult because there were no computers, no internet, no access to the lyrics, so the only way we could get them was to listen to the song times and times again on the cassette player and then write them and then check for spelling in the dictionary. And it was a hard work for a 12-year-old, and also a fabulous listening activity, who was tricking whom. So she would allow us to write a song, and before we would start singing it, she would exploit it to beats, highlighting grammar and idioms and all the grammatical structures or collocations that were there. Therefore, from my current perspective, that of a teacher, I still feel inspired by Mrs. Pop, and I can still learn from her even today. Also, Miss Rodica Pop taught us how to be valuable citizens of the world, to make a difference in the community through the projects that she was conducting at that time, such as summer English camps, which were a novelty. And I remember that it was not easy to get to her summer camps because she would have some conditions, like a minimum of 7 on a scale from 1 to 10, good behavior and academic results. That alone contributed to raising the standards for numerous students whose desire to join her in her project was accompanied by higher school grades. The academic standards that she set were high, even for us as teenagers. We had intensive sessions of writing, speaking and listening, and we were provided with as much genuine English context as possible. Then later, when foreign volunteers came to our city to organize summer camps, she gave us all the necessary information and support to apply. I have applied and participated at 2 such programs as a result. Later on, animated by the desire to follow my dream and to give back to others what was given unto me, I decided to take the entrance exam at the Faculty of Letters to study Romanian English. I have graduated valedictorian, and I got a Socrates grant for initial teaching training in England for 6 months, where I recognized the spirit and the educational approach that I value so much in Mrs. Pop. knowing how enthusiastic and dedicated she is, how much she meant for the future of so many of us, and how she still finds resources to invest in the education of young people, I made a nomination for her for the Global Teacher Prize 2018, hoping that her lifelong commitment to education will be acknowledged and valued accordingly. Thank you.
I met Mrs. Rodica Pop many years ago, when I was a little child. We used to meet once or twice a year since we had some mutual relatives. At that time, in my eyes, she was just an elegant and beautiful lady, and I was not able to see beyond this. But as time passed, she became the person who decided my career and influenced my whole life. When I got to high school, that was in 1990, after 8 years in a rural school, I was among the very few that had never studied English and had absolutely no contact with this language. I asked for her help, and I remember that the first private English lesson with her was the moment I fell in love with this language. I have worked a lot to catch up with everything, but it was due to her rather than to my work, because she motivated me, she made me fall in love with this language. She helped me during my university studies, and then she helped me with my graduation paper. In 1999, I started my teaching career in a small village in Maramuresh. As a young teacher, of course, I needed help, and she was close to me again. She always gave me more than I have asked for. Throughout all these years, she was my mentor, my friend, and I could even say my guardian angel. She taught me that being a teacher means much more than teaching. It means opening children's minds towards art, culture, history, towards the world. She also helped many teachers of English become better teachers and better people. She helped us, me and other children, apply for a Comenius grant and get the chance to improve our experience in Oxford in Great Britain. Besides the fact that she is open-minded and extremely intelligent, she has two other strengths. She has an impressive work capacity and a generosity that has no limits. She's always full of life, active, involving in different projects and activities, helping people, fighting for a better world. When I speak about her generosity, I do not mean that kind of generosity that is just giving to others what exceeds you. Generosity means, in her case, means sharing with all her heart everything she has, her ideas, experience, her work, her resources, everything. In this world where people are more and more selfish, it is impressive to see people like her. She is never afraid that a person that she helps could become better than her. No, she's not afraid of that. She just wants that everybody become better. She helps people dream, and she gives them the power and courage to fight for her dreams. I'm sure that everybody who had the chance to work with her, to know her, would agree this. I'm very glad that I'm among those people that had the opportunity to know her, to work with her, and I thank her for everything. I will always be grateful to her.
We are Haushi sisters
and their mother,
and we recommend teacher Rodica Pop, the winner of Global Teacher Prize,
because this wonderful teacher had a great influence on my daughter's education.
You will find more information in our testimonials because we have a lot of beautiful things to say about our dear teacher.
For us, she is the best teacher of the world.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nina Myhoff, and I'm president of Children of the Earth, a global organization. And in 1995, I met Rodica Pop. We were at the World Summit for Children. This was the major summit review of the status of children worldwide. Rodica impressed me very much. She brought children with her and 300 paintings which she put along the walls. Rodica comes from Romania, and someone that is so removed from the global scene found a way to come forward. We like her very much, and she was so dedicated. In 1997, I invited her to my leadership program, and she brought 5 youth with her, and we worked on academic skills and peace skills and learning how to live as community. And she liked it so much that we stayed in contact. Our organization has worked all over the world, but I've always worked side by side with Rodica. Another project we did was in Romania, where we got an EU grant to bring young people together, and also the Gypsy children were one of the focuses. And we planned a program and did days on about human rights and how to treat each other, and she did exceptionally well. She was also, I believe, voted Teacher of the Year, and I remember we did a peace pole planting, and that was based on Japan's May Peace Prevail on Earth. I could go on and on about the list of things she's done, but I'd rather not do it. I think she'll do it in her application. I believe she deserves to be recognized. She's somebody that has put in her life's work into this. She's volunteered her services. She's cared for children worldwide. She's accompanied them on every trip, and she's been able to raise funds to bring them here and there. And that's not easy, especially coming from Romania. So congratulations, Rodica. I hope you receive recognition and some funding, and I know if you did, you'd use it well. Our next project together is the Teddy Bear Project, and she is already organizing creatively how to work with children to bring them together, to bring about 1,000 bears into the school and then write letters of compassion and caring to other children who are suffering and are in victim circumstances, such as the Syrian asylum-seeking children. So Rodica always cares. She always does something creative. She's a visionary and activist and really a good educator. And if you review her material and see her organization, Children for Children, you would understand this. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hi to all. My name is Rodica Silvia. I am a friend of Rodica. I am from Ecuador. We have a very important link as Muslim educators. I know her in 2013 in the conference of ICOM in Rio de Janeiro, and she has a wonderful presentation to show the reality of blind people around the culture and how they can create a new way to think in the culture and promote by themselves touching things. The touch is a way that how we can connect the people to something new. And that's the reason because the convocatory that you have as Global Teacher Prize in the Barking Foundation, an important foundation that talk about education and support teachers around the world, can get the opportunity to know Rodica and give her an opportunity to show what she has and what she can share with the world.
I'm Hiro Saionji, President of the Goy Peace Foundation and the World Peace Prayer Society. On behalf of all the members of both organizations, it is my great pleasure to offer our most sincere congratulations on the great success of Global Education Festival. Now I heard from Ms. Rodica Pop, our fellow friend of Peace Pop project in Romania, about Hands in Hands Together for Japan, that the children will make a sculpture with 2,000 cut paper hands with a message of peace to Japan as sign of solidarity and love to children and people in Japan.
Life is so lifeless without attachments, without putting your soul in anything, without putting your heart into selflessly working for children. People first give. The greatest pleasure in this world is to give. There is more joy in giving than in receiving. With a reservoir of faith, a spring of hope, an ocean of love, the future of education looks ever brighter. Love is the answer.